Imagine a world where everybody is connected. Imagine a world where somebody in Japan can do a transaction with somebody in the United States without high banking fees. Imagine a world no longer ruled by greedy corporate banks. There's going to be a common time when we think of central banks in the same way we think about calling an operator to talk to a friend on the phone. This weird, annoying entity that came between us and the things we actually wanted. You aren't going to drown in fees anymore. You aren't going to borrow money from a bank. You aren't going to fight a half a dozen middlemen. It'll just be you and your money anywhere on earth. And once this happens, cryptocurrency could very well make the US dollar obsolete. Once people understand how easy this is and get used to it, the demand for legacy money controlled by a government and bank is going to plummet like a rock. Welcome to the world of cryptocurrency. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Tuesday night, day 2 of the People's Money Challenge. This is Brandon Ivey from Los Angeles, California. Thank you for being here and taking time out of your schedule. Hope you guys really loved night 1 because we did things a little bit different. We did the what is cryptocurrency instead of who is Satoshi Nakamoto. And I got a lot of good feedback. You guys said that it was flowing real well. You loved our panelist, Miss Patty Geis from San Diego. She got a little emotional for you guys. She was sharing her heart with everybody. Also, we still have prayers out for our other panelist that wasn't able to speak last night, Miss Lanu, for her sister. So prayers for her family. I know she's got all of her siblings is flying into Hawaii to be with the family. So we're keeping her up in our prayers. We're also keeping everybody in the path of Hurricane Ian down in Florida, also in our thoughts and prayers as they're preparing for a storm that hasn't hit like that in more than 100 years. So we have a lot of things that's going on around the world, but thank you guys and congratulations for taking the first step. If this is your second night or your first time being here to hear about cryptocurrency education, blockchain technology, like we said last night, you might have been in a situation where you hear about it, but you don't know what it is. You definitely don't know where to go to get it. And the only place that is recommended to you is YouTube and Google. And I'm here to tell you, there's a lot of videos on that, but most of those videos are outdated because this information changes every 30 days. Not only is it outdated, but you don't even have questions that you can, or somebody you can ask questions. So what separates ILCA from anything else out there is that we have a community of people that's dedicated to help you to grow, whether you're a beginner or a seasoned veteran. You're in the right place to get everything that you need to know. Now, I'm going to jump right on into it because we have 2 panelists that's going to speak tonight. So we need to have enough time for them to speak and also get into our lesson for tonight. So the first one up, many of you already know. He has been a part of our community from day 1. He has also been working with me for years now. We go way back. For in the crypto space, he's had a lot of success in this space. In fact, it helped walk him off his job. So I love to bring up one of our leaders, Mr. Provis Lofties, to share with everybody, what do you think about cryptocurrency? Why education is so important? Where do you see this going in the future? So Provis, go right ahead.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy, Provis Lofties, also known as the Crypto Bull. The team, baby. Hey, we in the house tonight. We're talking about cryptocurrency, talking about blockchain. Tonight is that's our lesson. Most of you know my background. For those of you that don't, I'll give a quick summary. I'm just a good old country boy from the backwoods of Grand Junction, Tennessee. You know, we still to this day don't have traffic lights in that little town, but I've come a long way. I went and enlisted in the U.S. Navy at the age of 17. Mom and Dad had to sign off for me to go off to the military. Traveled the world. I did a full retirement, retired at almost 22 years, and which brings me to almost where I am now. In between that time from when I retired to where I am now, I also worked I was a pest control technician for a couple of years. I learned a lot there about killing pests and things of that nature. But also, all that time, I always wanted more. I was striving for more, even in the military, because I retired at the rank of chief. So I was a manager, chief petty officer. That's a pretty big accolade in the U.S. Navy. But I also worked at, my last job, and because of crypto, it walked me off of my last job. I went from blue to green. I went from the Navy to the U.S. Army, working for an organization called CCAD, which means Corpus Christi Army Depot, where we worked on and we refurbished Black Hawk helicopters for the Army and Pave Hawk helicopters for the Air Force. So during that time, like I said, I always strive for more. I've always been hungry, and I was always tested, right? And for those of you who understand being tested, because I never considered myself to be very smart, but I was smart enough to know, how to make myself understand things, to comprehend things, and to carry on in life. But I always knew there was something better. You can't have a testimony without a test, right? I'm pretty sure everybody can agree with that. You can't have a test without a testimony. You sometimes have to ask yourself, do you know the difference between school and life, right? In school, you're taught a lesson and given a test. In life, you're given a test and taught a lesson, right? Would everybody agree with that? So, like Brandon said, I've been around him, been following him for years. And, without crypto education, I would not be where I am today. Crypto walked me off of my job. And it is, like I just said, it's because of crypto is the reason why I'm where I'm at today. And Brandon, I want to do a little something different tonight. If you would let me share a screen, because what I'm presenting tonight, I want to add value to what we're talking about, if that's possible.
Let me see. How do I do that?
Recording stopped.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Hold on, let me hit the recording again. There is a way I'm able to allow you to share. Well, give it right back. Let me take host right back. Hold on. There is a way I can. Okay, now hold on. Let me hit the record button again so I can combine these two.
Sorry about the monkey wrench.
Recording in progress.
All right, go right ahead.
Okay. So what I want to share is, where is it? Let me find it. Okay. This one right here. Okay, can you guys see that?
Yep, it's coming up.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So a couple of days ago, about 3 days ago, I made a post on my Facebook page, right? And I don't know if everybody saw this or not, but I just wanted to bring light to it because I'm kind of glad you had me on tonight, Brandon, speaking tonight, because we're talking about blockchain technology, and this refers to blockchain technologies. If everybody sees what I'm talking about, you'll understand it, right? And I'm gonna go through gonna first read what I posted, right? And I'll read this right quick. In our private crypto groups, we always say that blockchain technology will disrupt every industry that we currently know. Now, I got a lot of these, quotes and things from Brandon, just from, what I've been taught over the years. We also say, don't be so much in love with the money, but be in love with instead the technology, right? Remember this quote, despite of who it comes from. The Stone Age didn't end due to a lack of stones. It ended because of better technology. Who said that? Vladimir Putin, right? And Brandon has referred to that quote many, many times. Our technology is constantly changing, growing, evolving, and revolutionizing our old way of doing things. That also includes our financial systems. So everybody on the Facebook side and on the VIP side, ask yourself these questions. But it's going to be different from the people who aren't involved in this, who aren't getting educated. Question number one, are you getting educated about this space? Number two, are you prepared to take advantage of the largest transfer of wealth in history? Number three, do you realize that many banks already have patents on blockchain technology that could change your financial future? Number four, do you know what CBDCs are, central bank digital currencies, right? Everybody on both sides of this group, both on the Facebook side and the VIP side, I'm pretty sure you understand and and your answers to those questions will be yes. Everybody else will be no, right? So I go on to say, hey, it changed my life and it could change yours too. The below picture captures only a portion of what blockchain technologies would change. So if you look at that screen, at the top, it says, just going from the top left, or starting in the middle, 50 plus blockchain, real world use cases, right? Government, identification, mobile payments. You guys just look at that picture and it explains everything in great detail. What blockchain technology will change? Brandon says this all the time within our trainings. I've been listening to him for years saying the same thing. Is drilled in my head, to where blockchain technology will disrupt every industry that we currently know. And it's starting to do that right now. But you guys, a lot of people don't understand the power of that statement, because if you drill down blockchain technology, and even going from this slide that's on the screen, it's telling you right there, border control, supply chains, healthcare, shipping, real estate. We just talked about real estate, something that's coming, what Brandon talked about this morning during our crypto talk this morning, about we are privy to, a few of us are privy to this blockchain, this company that will be connecting the dots between blockchain technology and real estate or assets, say yachts, say airplanes, things of that nature. Blockchain technology is humongous. And it's, when I look at blockchain technology, like I say, me personally, I love, science, and I'm just captivated by what science has done and what technology has done and how we've grown. If you think about the .com era, those of us that were living back then, we may have been younger, but we didn't take advantage of it. Our parents or grandparents didn't take advantage of it the way we, will be able to take care or take advantage of blockchain technology, what we have at our fingertips just today. So if you look at that, it's got pretty much everything covered on that screen, on this slide that I'm showing. The next one I want to show, everybody see that? So what can you do with a blockchain? Well, so when I look at this screen, I look at this as, this center part, if you understand science, almost like a cell, right? And the inner part of the cell is like the nucleus. right? All these little tentacles leading from this cell is the cilia, and it's basically like little hairs on a cell. Not to get too technical and about biology and things of that nature, but like I say, things like that interesting. But I look at this, and if you just go clockwise, how can what can blockchain do for ticketing, audits, automated stock control, supply chain? Where I came from CCAD, Corpus Christi Army Depot, we had a major problem with parts traceability, parts identification sometimes. And once I was introduced to blockchain, even back then, I was way less educated than what I am now. I just thought about how blockchain technology would improve our systems out there. Cleaning and settlement, crowdfunding, programmable legal contracts, financial asset management, digital identity insurance, and basically that's just identifying us, and making sure that is confirmed or that is legit. Digital rights management, tax automation, payments, notary services and data storage, distributed trading, KYC, know your customer, and AML, which is anti-money laundering compliance, regulatory reporting, medical and R&D. Can you think about if you just, if you were out of town and you need to go see something happen, you need to go see a doctor or go to the emergency room, all your information, you can basically carry your information with you, whether it be on your mobile device or whatever, but your whole medical history will be there at the fingertips or at the doctor, the medical provider's fingertips. You don't have to wait for reports and things like that to come in. Digital voting. Now, this is a biggie right here. With the upcoming elections and the presidential elections and things of that nature, Brandon, one of the things that Brandon has always said, and I completely 110% agree with him. The minute they put voting on the blockchain, things are going to change. And for those senators and candidates and things of that nature that don't want voting to be on the blockchain, you need to watch them. That means they're okay with the status quo and they don't want things to change. They want to be able to manipulate systems. They want to be able to manipulate what we currently have in place, which, some of that has happened. And I'm not trying to get political here or anything like that, but you have to understand the whole trust system that's involved with the blockchain, the whole validation system as a whole, workflow management, chain of custody, insurance, asset ownership, reward loyalty incentive schemes, gambling, and of course, one of the ones I love, the Internet of Things, IoT technology. Completely love IoT technology. But if you look at all this, and I kind of skipped over this nucleus, the digital identity, digital assets, distributed apps, and smart contracts, of course. But if you think about all of that, what blockchain is going to disrupt, and if you guys don't, if you don't understand how important it is to take advantage of this, then you're basically on the side of the road wishing you did later on in life. A great quote that I found a while back, once a new technology rolls over you, if you're not a part of the steamroller, you become part of the road. So I leave all of you with this. Do you want to become a part of the road, or do you want to partake in something that's so huge that it may not come around, again in our lifetime? Blockchain technology is disrupting everything. We talk about this all the time. Brandon just talked about it last week about different whales or people, billionaires and millionaires are investing in blockchain technology, and what it's going to mean for our future. So all I'm saying is you can either stay at the train station or you can get on the train, because this train is already moved. It just depends on you, because what this is doing and what it will do, it will change the outcome for your future generations. And Brandon, I'm gonna leave it at that. I hope that wasn't too long. I hope I added a little bit of value about what we're going to be discussing tonight, and I hope everybody appreciates what I brought to the table.
All right, thank you very much, Provis. You guys know Provis is always there to help out the community and to share with everybody. And thank you very much, Provis. Hit the stop screen button so they'll come right back to me. Now we've got one more panelist, and this is a special guest you have never heard from directly, but this is a gentleman that I met more than a year ago. He is an entrepreneur based out of Mexico. He has owned several businesses that are both digital and in the real world space. Him and his lovely wife have a brand new project that is called G-Meta One. So earlier last month, you guys might have known that we had an event inside the metaverse where I was a special guest speaker on their platform, and thanks to you guys, was voted best speaker out of all the panelists on that episode. But the future is metaverse. In fact, it is one of the lessons that I'm currently writing right now. So I asked if he could come on just to share with you guys, the community, about why he got into crypto, why he believes education is so important, and where he thinks this is going in the future. So let me bring up Mr. Miguel Cryptos. Miguel, are you there?
Yo, I'm here. Hi there, guys. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure, absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you all for listening to me. I hope I don't bore you. No, we've been doing a few things together, Brandon, and it was great working with you. Absolutely fantastic. It's incredible to see what sort of value you always give to everyone. I tell you what, I've learned so much from Brandon. Is incredible. Let me start. I find out about Bitcoin, about cryptocurrencies in 2013 when I went to an event in Argentina. And that event was actually it was part of what I was doing, and I went to see the event, and it was incredible. Bitcoin was at $200 at that time. It was fantastic, and I'm always a very positive person, even knowing Bitcoin at that time was in a dip, and everyone was complaining because it was in a dip. As usual. So it was actually very funny for me. It was like incredible. How could something out of thin air be worth $200? I was fascinated, absolutely fascinated. And I went in this event. I met the organizers. I met some of the people that were the Bitcoin advocates at that time. They still are, obviously. And it was incredible to see. It was fascinating, absolutely fascinating to see someone, for example, who bought a newspaper with the first article about Bitcoin. And they purchased that newspaper for like $10,000 in crypto at that time. Now, it's absolutely incredible. They also, I on that meeting, I also won a mining device, okay, a mining device that I could mine with my own cell phone. That is absolutely, it's like we think, oh, that must have been a long time. No, that was in 2013. And it's important for us to realize, it's like at this stage right now, we all look at crypto, and the ones who are involved in crypto daily, we see crypto. Oh, crypto is down. Crypto is down. Crypto is down. Crypto is down. Wait a minute. Crypto is down, but it's still on $20,000, which was the whole-time high in 2018.
17.
Huh? But it's still on the all-time high of 2018. that doesn't that make people wonder? It will probably most likely, and this is not financial advice. I don't give financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. All right. But I do learn with the paths that I go through, and it will most likely even go lower. Okay. Now, one thing is funny. In 2017 is when I decided to actually follow cryptocurrency to the fullest. I was breathing, I was eating, I was dreaming, I was snoring crypto. I was like everything. And I've been living from cryptocurrencies since 2017, fully. It's like, yeah, I do have other businesses. We should never put all our eggs in one basket, but never get discouraged when it goes down. Okay, and this is important. This is really important because it's so easy to see crypto going down. Like we look at the graph yesterday, was it at 18,000? Then today it went 20,000. Oh wow! And then suddenly it went back down to 19,000. It's like, oh my god, this is a scam. Someone is playing with us, right? It's so easy to think like that. Don't get discouraged. Okay, don't get discouraged. And I'm talking about Bitcoin, but it's not. I'm talking about the whole crypto industry itself. And when you have the basic knowledge, you understand what goes on. Because, yeah, corporations will manipulate. Governments will manipulate. The whales will manipulate. Everyone is trying to take advantage. Absolutely everyone, just like you and me. I try to take advantage of various situations. When I see, someone just announced that Bitcoin is going this, and the SEC and something, it's going to go up. I buy it. Hey, I take advantage of the situation. Everyone does, right? But don't get discouraged when it goes down, because if you look at something since the beginning, you can see where it is actually going, right? Where is actually going. I would think like every 4 years, see the path on every 4 years, and you see that no one has ever lost as long as they hold Bitcoin or a strong cryptocurrency for over 4 years. Obviously, there's more and more there will be other cryptocurrencies. Okay, more and more. This is why you need crypto education. Now, because with that crypto education, then you can start making those evaluations. Which cryptocurrency should I purchase? Don't just go by what you listen, do your own research. Check what's behind the projects. Check who are behind the projects. Check. There's so many things that you need to verify and do your own due diligence. Now, I did this a while ago in 2018. Okay, I was looking into a project, and it was actually a metaverse related project. In 2018, it was a metaverse related project because they were saying that they were going to be the first ones to broadcast live events inside the metaverse. And this was in 2018, before Zuckerberg went and say that he was changing into Meta. All right, before any of that. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. And they had some good names, and I purchased that coin. I tell you what, I completely forgot about it. I purchased what? $200. Now, it wasn't like 2,000 or 10,000 or 20,000. No. $200. It was never use money that you need. Always use what is the spare, Don't go and get a loan to buy a crypto just because it's all shiny. And no. If anyone tells you that, they're not your friends. Okay, they're not your friends. And I grabbed these $200, and I was thinking, well, let's see. I'll purchase this coin, and I actually did a mistake. I purchased in the coin, and it went on a wallet. It went in a wallet that I didn't had access to the keys. Later on, I actually managed to get the keys. Okay, but it's all a learning curve. Okay, it's all a learning curve. You will do a lot of mistakes. This is why you need crypto education, so you don't go through those mistakes. You know, because I didn't have the company did say they would provide by request the keys, but I didn't knew that. Okay, so I just purchased and I gave my Ethereum wallet address, and that was it, and I totally forgot about it completely. Now, 9 months ago, once Meta announced, or once Zuckerberg announced what he is doing with the name change and all of that, everything went a little crazy in relation to the metaverse. Including me and some other people in my team, we actually created this really awesome project related to the metaverse, which we had Brandon Ivey. He was the winner for the best speaker. We had a lot of awesome speakers, and we'll do it again. But something happened with this particular coin that I purchased, and I totally forgot about it. Okay, and most of the times, I tell you what, that's the best thing you should do. It's buy the coin, put it on the side, and don't look at it, because if you look at it, you're tempted to sell. The biggest mistakes I've done in my life was to sell. I'm inside a business right now. I got a kids park. It's one of my businesses, and it's a kids playground. And we purchased this kids playground thinking that we were doing a really good investment, and we purchased for 10 Bitcoins. Brandon, don't laugh, please. Don't laugh.
I feel your pain.
Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Don't laugh, because we did worse. Okay, we did worse. That was actually not too bad, because I still got something to show for it. And it's a business that we actually managed to increase sales and everything. So, but it's good. It wasn't too bad. But still, when I think, well, there was 10 Bitcoins. Out, right? So I did another mistake. I tell you what, this one mistake was just after I got in seriously about Bitcoin, where I actually went and invest in this exchange, and I grabbed 50 Bitcoins and I put it in there, and this exchange just closed down. 50 Bitcoins. Now, why I'm saying this is you will make mistakes. The best way for those mistakes not to happen is to follow someone who's already been through those mistakes, to actually listen to someone who's showing you education in relation to this space, but real education, not those videos on YouTube where you think you're learning, and then at the end they'll tell you, and use this device or use this wallet, and it's a little referral link. Did they have the best intention? Yeah, they might have the best intention, but their best intention is for you to use their wallet so they can earn commissions, which is all right. It's nothing bad as long as the education is real. Unfortunately, there's not very many people with real education. That's the issue, right? Now, you will make mistakes, and you need to overcome those mistakes. You overcome those mistakes with education. Now, that particular coin that I was just telling you, I purchased it for $200. When I went and checked, because I was looking, it was a blockchain wallet. It was actually a blockchain wallet. And I looked at the blockchain wallet, and it was showing $56,000. And I was like, wait a minute. But Bitcoin just went down. the Bitcoin is not at $56,000. It's at 51. And I told my wife, hey, what is the price of Bitcoin? You went up again? Oh, it's 51. Like, oh, my wallet is incorrect. This is blockchain wallet. This is not right. And then I realized that was the money that was sitting on my wallet from that coin. And you can check, that coin is called SEEK. SEEK. Okay. It's completely unexpected. But it again is something that when I saw it in the moment and I looked to what is happening, what is the development and where lives are turning into, we are getting more and more and more and more digital every single day. Everyone, even our kids playing Roblox, they starting to purchase items in Roblox with a digital currency, which is box, or I don't know, mega box or something like that, right? They're already starting to do what we're all going to be doing in the future. For them, it's going to be easy to catch on. Really easy. For us, it's a little bit harder. This is why education is extremely important. Otherwise, people they will fall into wallets. They don't realize what is the difference between a centralized and a decentralized wallet. And I tell you what, so many people I see that they use a centralized wallet when they should use a decentralized wallet is incredible, especially with tokens, with NFTs, is absolutely incredible. So guys, my big advice, listen to what Brandon has got to show, and follow the right people. Make sure when you're listening to what cryptocurrency is, when you want to go more into depth, when you want to go and exchange or trade, make sure you are following the right people. And so you don't fall into silly mistakes, because that silly mistake of missing out or losing a little bit of this cryptocurrency that in 10 years is worth crazy amounts of money, it could be the big difference that you need in your life. All right, that's it for me, Brandon. I hope that was
all
good.
right. Well, thank you very much, Miguel. As you guys know, you can check them out. GMeta1 Universe, Metaverse. We actually have an apartment room or a room in their apartment building in the Metaverse. And we're going to be doing some more events in there and showing it off. I probably will show it off on this coming Saturday's public crypto talk. So thank you, Miguel, very much. And now let's move on to the topic for tonight, which is Provost was talking about blockchain technology. You see, in 2017, I learned, it was May 2017, two things that changed my life. We talked about one of them last night, but the other is that blockchain technology is going to disrupt every single industry on the planet today, whether you like it or not, believe it or not, trust it or not. Your opinion is irrelevant. It is already happening. Everybody is running around thinking of Bitcoin and crypto that is this and money. No, you need to look at this as technology. Technology is the revolution, not the money. The financial side of it is a result of the technology that's coming. Just how the internet first got started. How many of you would have loved to be at the internet or the beginning of the internet and investing in projects and companies taking advantage of the internet in the early days, knowing what we know now? See, back then, they was skeptical about what the internet was and is it needed and who wants to use email and why is this a thing? But then what happened? The businesses that did not adapt to the internet, that new technology, went out of business. You either became Netflix or you became Blockbuster Video, and you had a choice. Today, every single business has presence on the internet. Every single individual has a footprint on the internet. I have the newest member I have a huge family. My baby cousin daughter just had a baby. Can't believe it. I'm the grandpa age, but the baby has a social media. They've got more selfie pictures of that baby than I have selfie pictures on social media. From her aunts, my aunt, my grandma's, all taking pictures of baby Zaylee. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So this new generation, this is all they know, this technology. So we're going to talk about tonight, what is the blockchain? Why is it so important? Why is it so revolutionary? And how can you be involved in it? And 95% of people in crypto, okay, 95% of people in crypto don't know or have a good understanding of what blockchain is. Give you another example. People think blockchain and Bitcoin is the same thing. It is not. Bitcoin is a result of blockchain. And even the Bitcoin critics out there love blockchain technology. We just covered earlier this week about Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan and Chase. He is very critical of Bitcoin. He has been running his mouth against Bitcoin for the past 6 years, in spite of him being found guilty of manipulating the market by publicly denouncing Bitcoin and crypto to purposely bring the market down, and then going in Sweden and purchasing the most Bitcoin assets in the world in a 24-hour period, found guilty, paid a fine. For him, it's the cost of doing business. He's still doing it now, talking bad about Bitcoin and crypto, but he loves blockchain technology. They recognize the technology. So let's get you guys and your head wrapped around this technology, because when you do understand this, then it will give you even more appreciation for the whole crypto movement. So what is a blockchain? Well, a blockchain is a tamper-proof encrypted database secured by cryptography, which is the study of encryption that acts as an accounting ledger, keeping track of digital assets. Instead of being maintained by a single server like traditional databases, blockchains are decentralized and maintained by a distributed network of computers around the world. This database tracks every Bitcoin in the network and each transaction since the very first Bitcoin. You can think of Bitcoin as an accounting system. Through the blockchain, it is a way of recording transactions and value digitally in an open and distributed self-clearing ledger. Now, that's the scientific term. Remember, I always say, I want to break things down in a way that my mom can understand. So beginners to cryptocurrency sometimes hear the word blockchain and think that the term blockchain is synonymous with Bitcoin. However, this will be like saying that smartphone technology and Apple have the same meaning. Well, Apple doesn't have a monopoly on smartphone technology. Or this one, the relationship between Bitcoin and blockchain is like the relationship between Facebook and the internet. Now, yeah, Facebook's got 2 billion users around the world, but that's not the whole internet. Bitcoin is based on blockchain technology and could not exist without blockchain technology. Blockchain technology preceded Bitcoin, and blockchain technology could exist without Bitcoin. And please hold your questions till the end. I'll get you all your questions answered. You guys are VIPs. Just like Facebook is on the internet, Bitcoin is on the blockchain. Facebook cannot work without the internet. Bitcoin cannot work without its blockchain. Let's get a visual image in your minds. So picture this. There is a digital block that's created on the internet. Inside that block is data. For cryptocurrencies, text data of a list of transactions is inside of each block. For NFTs, text data detailing ownership of digital assets is inside of each block. Every time a new block is created, it is linked or chained back to the previous block. So you have a series of blocks full of data all chained together to each other. Kind of like what I used as an example last night. If you've got a bank statement, or if you bank with Chase, JP Morgan, Bank of America, whatever, and you log into your account by your phone or your laptop, and every month it says the previous month's statement is available. So you can click on statements, and then it's going to have a drop down menu and say, well, which statement would you like to look at? Would you like September, August, July, June, May, April? And when you click on it, it gives you every transaction you did that month. And then you close it, you go to the next month. Think of that as a block. Every month is a block, recording data. That's how this works as well. I had to explain that way to my dad. Another way I explained to my dad about blockchain technology being separate from Bitcoin. My dad loves trains ever since he was a little kid, and my grandpa bought him his first train set. He loves trains. So I said, Dad, I want you to think of the blockchain like the railroad, the tracks. You got to lay the tracks first. What's the train going to run on? Without the tracks, there's no train. It's that train is Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. The track is blockchain technology. So now I have to move from saying things in a way that my mom can understand to also saying things in a way that my dad can understand. Another way to visualize it is like this. Picture each block as a page in a book. The data inside each block are the words on the page, and the chain is the book's spine that holds all of the pages together. There are various different cryptocurrencies, each with its own blockchain. For the blockchains of cryptocurrencies, the data inside each block is a detailed record of transactions involving that specific cryptocurrency. Basically, each block is one page in a digital ledger. Now, how are new blocks added to the chain? Well, in order to add a new block to a chain, a complex math equation must be solved. For Bitcoin's blockchain, basically, somebody needs to guess a number between 1 and 4 billion in order to add a block to the blockchain. This requires a vast amount of computing power, as well as some time, roughly 10 minutes per block on Bitcoin's blockchain. The individual or group who guesses the correct number creates the new block and is awarded 6.25 Bitcoins. So when somebody says Bitcoin is made out of thin air and money, cash is king, it's actually the opposite. This is made up out of thin air. It's not on the gold standard. There is nothing backing it besides government trust. That is it. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is not made up out of thin air. There's a process to go through creating it, minting it. Just like if you were to dig gold up for gold, then you got to refine the gold. You mint the gold to however you want it, form you want it to take. Well, with Bitcoin, it costs manpower, it costs time, it costs energy for one Bitcoin to end up being created. There's a value to it. There's a cost to it. So the individual or group who guesses the correct number, that's got that part, creating a new block by guessing the correct number. The fact that it is so difficult to add a new block makes it so that no one organization can ever add too many blocks in a row. It would be like the same person winning the lottery over and over again. The fact that blocks are so difficult to create is also the reason why they are so tamper-proof and immutable. So now we know what a blockchain is, how blocks are created, and what each block is filled with, a digital ledger of transactions. Let me highlight something again. Mining. You might have heard that term mining before. What does that mean? Well, it's taken from the best way you can describe it, like the gold rush. Gold is a rare item. You just don't walk down the street and pick it up off the ground. There's a process. You got to dig for it. You got to find the veins and then find that mining strain, and then you dig for mine for that gold. Well, this is the digital version of it. We are mining for digital gold. So you will have a mining machine. Back in the early days, all of the nerds changed their gaming rigs into mining rigs because it had the power to do so. I had a beast of a computer back in the day, a PC, that I could have converted had I known better, into mining Bitcoin in those early days. Today, you can't do it so much anymore because of the amount of power that's needed for you to be successful. Now, is there a way, can you say, is there a way somebody mines will never get Bitcoin? Well, it's really based on the amount of power that they're adding to the system. It's statistical. So, if you have so much power entering the system, based on statistics, how much that's going to generate in the network for Bitcoin. If you have a little bit of power, then well, it might take me, 2 years to get a Bitcoin through my system. And is it worth it to do so? So that's what mining is. Whenever you hear that term mining, that means that they are computers that are actually building the blockchain. And what the blockchain is doing is recording all of the transactions of data. And when that block is filled up, the reward is kicked out, and the reward is Bitcoin. Because how do you incentivize somebody to put their manpower, their time, and their energy behind a project? How do you pay them when there's no CEO, there's no company? Well, there's a reward for them solving that math problem. So to understand the significance of blockchain technology, we must go back in time and look at ledgers and their function. And we talked about last night what ledgers are. All of you operate in the ledger system. We're currently in the 2 ledger system right now, or the 2nd ledger system. But back in the day, there was only 1. Ledgers and their functions. So a ledger is simply a documented record of transactions. Your bank statement, that's a ledger. Your receipt, when you go and pay for something and they hand you a receipt, that's a ledger. It's a recording of the transaction you just made. The blockchain is a ledger. A blockchain is a documented record of transaction. Got that? Now, since the dawn of civilization, people have been trading things with one another. I shared last night how my grandfather never believed in paying full price for nothing. He was the bartering king back in the day. Go down to the Compton swap meet, never paid full price. It was insulting for him to even think to do so, but they traded their skill sets. What do you do if you can't afford? My grandmother was a nurse. So she knew a lot of people in the neighborhood couldn't afford, either they didn't have health insurance or whatever. So if there was a problem, they came and saw my grandma. My grandma grew vegetables and food in her garden in the backyard. Other people down the street had a skill set with electrical or fixing cars or whatever, and they traded their services, bartering. No money was ever exchanging hands because nobody had any money. So this is how it happened in the beginning of time. Humans trade with each other. Even before the invention of currency, tribes and early civilizations would often keep a record of who traded what with who. Dating as far back as 5000 BC in Mesopotamia, people used clay tablets as primitive ledgers to record transactions of crops and animals. Now, think of it now. We still see these transactions. It's like etching something in stone. Once it's done, it cannot be undone. Now, since then, we use the paper and digital stuff, but that's information that can be manipulated. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say this is the medieval era, and you are selling into a port because you want to sell your goods and products, and you need to meet the harbor master. And the harbor master says, you need to declare your goods. How much pounds, what are you bringing in, and how much of it do you have? So the harbor master records all that information. Then when it's time for you to leave, you check back with the harbor master again and say, all right, this is what I have left. This is what I sold, the business that I did. Now it's time for you to pay your taxes based on the record. But only one person or group had that record, the harbor master. Back in the day, who were the wealthiest people in the land besides the king and queen and their court? Well, tax collectors and the harbor masters. Because then, what's to stop them from saying, I really don't like you or where you come from. You might have slept with my wife last time you were here. Nah, you gotta pay more. And that's where the art of bribery started to come in. Bribe the harbor master to look the other way, or bribe the harbor master so that he wouldn't give you a hard time. So that was a little corrupt type of society back then. Or what's to stop the tax man saying, he said, I paid my taxes. No, you didn't. Yes, I paid it. You wrote it down. Where? Because you erased it. You need to pay again. What recourse do you have, for that to happen? So when you think of the 12 disciples that followed Christ, when Jesus said, lay down all your belongings, your earthly belongings, that's what they were doing back then, besides fishing. So ledgers such as these would also be used to keep track of debts owed. So it was important that they were kept in a safe place to avoid tampering or damage. Ledgers were kept safe inside of guarded temples and palaces, the seeds of the first banks. Also back then, not everybody could read or write, to be learned, to go to school. So if you're the only one who could read and write and you kept the records, you have to rely on trusting them. And we all know humans, you can't always trust them. So later, banks took over the role of calculating and maintaining ledgers. They kept track of transactions as well as debts owed and kept these ledgers safe, except at this point, people were using currency and no longer bartering with crops, animals, and other goods. Now saying, okay, I can't trust an individual, but I can trust the bank, right? Right? Until 2008. The banks, the predatory lending, the mortgage crisis, it was the banks that took full advantage of that. They knew exactly what they were doing. And then they got bailed out. So there's still a problem in the second ledger system, which is why the whole crypto space began, because we can no longer trust the system to take care of things like they say they will. Modern banking, for centuries, people have trusted banks to keep and maintain ledgers, which is records where people agree with the information in a bank's ledgers and trust that that information is safe from tampering or damage. Because everyone agrees with the information in a bank's records, banks are often used as an intermediary for transactions between two parties. When you swipe your debit card at the grocery store and the point of sale terminal states that the transaction has gone through, the grocery store trusts that you've paid. The grocery store trusts your bank records. Why? Because the point of sale device that they're using, the debit card or credit card that you're using, is backed by a bank, a third party that is being paid, that we pay for as a consumer, and that the merchants are paying for to use for convenience. We trust that third party to verify that what they're selling is legitimate and the money I'm giving you is legitimate. But that comes with a cost. Both parties involved in a transaction trust that the records of the bank are accurate. If the bank says the transfer has successfully been completed, then the buyer and the seller can both trust and agree that the money has in fact gone through. What's the pros and cons of using banks and their ledgers? Well, banks add a level of trust and security to transactions. This is why banks have been around for hundreds of years. The downside to this is that banks and their governments have the power to monitor and control people's money, as well as put their hands in people's pockets with fees, especially when transferring money international and or converting fiat currencies. So the issue is, for centuries, we have been trusting banks to keep records, which is the ledger, of who owns and owes what. But at the same time, we've been sacrificing some of our privacy, independence, and percentages of our wealth and fees. So right now, you go to work, you get paid, more than likely, you're getting a direct deposit, not a check. And that direct deposit goes to the bank, and we're paying the bank a fee for the privilege of them holding our money. We pay a fee to pull our own money out. We pay a fee for everything. But we're paying for the trust and the security, which is interesting. For those people who say, well, I don't want to pay for crypto education, but you're willing to pay to use a bank or a custodial because of security. Your crypto education is your security. I'm gonna have to use it a lot more. But we believe it's time to drain this financial swamp. What if there was a better way? What if there was some form of modern technology that could help us get the best of both worlds? What if we could have security and trust while at the same time also have a financial privacy and autonomy? We would need a secure ledger that everyone could trust and agree on, and that wasn't able to be controlled, interfered with, or manipulated by any person or institution. So you remove greed from the equation. Enter blockchain technology. How are blockchains different from the banks? Well, blockchains are distributed and publicly accessible. A blockchain is a digital ledger, but it is a digital ledger that everybody has access to, yet nobody can control and tamper with. Historically, ledgers and records have been centralized, locked up, and stored by one institution that has access and control. For cryptocurrencies, the entire ledger is out in the open and accessible to everybody. Blockchains are anonymous. When you look at the Bitcoin blockchain, you will notice that you don't see the names, email addresses, or any information about the sender and receiver. All you see are transaction hashes and wallet addresses. It is almost impossible to determine someone's identity based on these strings of random letters and numbers. This is the paradox of Bitcoin. Everybody can see all of the transactions, but nobody can see who is doing the transactions. Blockchains are decentralized. For almost every major cryptocurrency, nobody owns or controls the ledger of the blockchain. The blockchain is available for anyone in the world to see, no matter where they are. Having a decentralized ledger plus the inherent security of a blockchain eliminates the need for an institution, bank, or government to be the middleman. Having a transparent digital ledger or blockchain means that cryptocurrency is open to everybody on the planet. And an entire 31% of adults in the world do not have access to a bank account. But if they have access to an internet connection, then they can access cryptocurrencies. Now, what makes a blockchain so secure? Well, blockchain blocks require majority agreement to be valid. You say, wait, how is the blockchain secure? But I keep hearing stories of hacking and people losing money. They're not losing it on the blockchain. That's not where it's happening. It's happening when you're using a custodial service that can get hacked, onboarding or offboarding points, or an individual not securing their wallets. That's how that happens, but not the blockchain. The blockchain can't be hacked. So what makes a blockchain so secure is the fact that it is distributed. There are multiple live versions of each blockchain. If somebody is able to tamper with even one block on his live version of the blockchain, then everyone else will instantly see that it doesn't match up with the other live versions, and it will be discarded. As long as more than 50% of the live blockchain versions or nodes agree on something, the versions that are different are identified as false and ignored, and this all happens very quickly. Blockchain blocks are essentially immutable. Every 10 minutes, a new block is created on the Bitcoin blockchain. The block is filled with data of recent Bitcoin transactions. The data in the block shows a list of wallet addresses that have sent Bitcoin to other wallet addresses, as well as the amount of Bitcoin sent. Once the block has been mined and the data is written inside, the block is closed and becomes added to the end of the blockchain. At that point, it is almost impossible to edit, modify, or remove. It's like writing in wet cement. And once the cement hardens, the information written will be there forever. The block is basically immutable. It's like we're going back in time and chiseling on the walls again, like Mesopotamia. I'll give you another visual of that. So let's say, for example, all my computers, I never use my computer hard drive for storage. I always use external hard drives. So here's two, for example. When one fills up, Then I unplug it and I plug in a new one. When that fills up, I unplug it. Like the one I got, now I'm not going to spill all on my computer like I did last time. I plug in a new one. And you can see it. I got two more over here. And I don't get rid of anything. I still have my old PC from 15, 20 years ago. I don't believe in throwing that stuff out. You think you can wipe your computer, but there's always a way to recover information and data. I keep my own stuff always. So same concept. When one block fills up, it moves. So is it possible to hack the blockchain? Is it possible to hack it? Well, if one individual or organization were able to gain control of 51% of the computing power, 51%, then they would be able to double spend their coins. That means that they could spend their coins, then delete that transaction and spend the coins again. But to mount a successful 51% attack on a large cryptocurrency, such as Bitcoin, would require an astronomical amount of computing power, costing billions or tens of billions of dollars. That's just to hack one block. So it's not financially worth it unless somebody wanted to spend billions of dollars just to prove a point. The only individual on this planet I could see pulling something like that would be Elon Musk, just to prove a point. But it's not financially feasible. Now you might say, but what about quantum computing? What about quantum computing? Couldn't that do it? Yes. But the same technology that can do that would also be used to shore up the blockchain as well. It's just a race on who's going to get there first on making that happen. There are estimated to be over 1 million Bitcoin miners in the world today. Someone would need to generate the computing power of over 1 million other miners to be able to temporarily tamper with the creation of the current Bitcoin block. A 51% attack on Bitcoin will be outlandishly expensive. Because blockchain technology is by nature secure, anonymous, immutable, and decentralized, it's being eyed for other applications beyond only cryptocurrency. What about, Provis mentioned this earlier, using a blockchain to cast votes in an election? If both sides can't agree because either side is claiming the other did some type of voter fraud, put it on the blockchain. The blockchain don't lie. It is what it is. But eventually it will be. But I predict that even though blockchain will disrupt every industry, I think voting will be probably one of the last things that blockchain will be put on. Not because I think that everybody is corrupt, but because voting, especially in the United States, is seen as so sacred that every state and sometimes even counties have their own rules and laws about how to vote. So until that is uniform, it's not going to be on the blockchain. You know, every state wants to have their own autonomy with that. Now they can have their own version of the blockchain that they're using in their individual, but then people still won't trust that because somebody in some other jurisdiction will say, I don't believe the blockchain you're using. And they'll say, well, I don't believe the blockchain you use. So we'll be back at square one. What about using a blockchain to keep track of medical data? Revolutionary. How many of you guys know your blood type? How many of you know all your medical data like you should? What if something were to happen to you and, the doctors need to know your information immediately? You go into the military, you got dog tags and all this other stuff. But this is revolutionary. And I have a course called Internet of Things that covers this in more detail. Also this one, using a blockchain to keep track of the supply chain of food or other products. Can you imagine you go to the grocery store and you're in the grocery store and you want to get a piece of fruit and vegetable. And how do you know that hasn't been recalled? How do you know where was it created? What if you could just scan a QR code right on there, because that fruit is on the blockchain, and you're able to see the history of when it was planted in the ground, what country it was in, when it was picked, how long has it gone en route before it got to your grocery store and in your hand. You're able to see every single step of the way. Revolutionary. What about using a blockchain to store authentic pieces of digital art? NFTs. I'm almost finished with that lesson right now. NFTs. What about using a blockchain to store personal identification information? Using a blockchain to store important deeds, such as for land or a home, so it's never in question. It's never a he said or she said. It's never, well, somebody had the paperwork, but they lost the paperwork. Or who belongs to who? How do you determine how? Well, if everything's on the blockchain, it's there. Everybody can see it. It's not like, I'll use this. I was watching Game of Thrones the other day because we're watching House of Dragon. And I don't want to give a spoiler alert, but in season 1 of Game of Thrones, when it was in question over who was going to be the next king or ruler after Baratheon passed away, it all came down to a piece of paper. And what did Cersei do? Rip, 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 rip. What? What you gonna do? Blockchain stores all of that, is immutable. Now, as a disclaimer, this information is intended for educational and training purposes only and should not be construed as investment advice. As with all financial decisions, you should contact your licensed financial advisor before investing in any financial instrument. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is blockchain technology. And that ends our night 2, sort of. What do I mean by that is, now for those of you that are on Facebook, that we come to an end, because last night I left the line open so that we're going to do Q&A section for all of our VIPs. Those of you, the people you see on the Zoom with me, are VIPs. Now this is what separates ILCA from anything else out there. You just got a live training from me, but now you're going to be able to ask questions. And that's the VIP side. So at this point, I want to thank all of you in the Facebook group, especially those of you that are brand new. You're just checking us out. You want to see, is there anything real to this? Is there any value that I can earn from this? I know you just learned something new, and I encourage you to come back tomorrow night, because tomorrow night we're going to be talking about who is Satoshi Nakamoto. Our special guest panelist will be Mr. Byron Nelson, and you definitely want to hear him speak. I mean, people pay him $5,000, $10,000 just for him to speak. And we have him speaking for our community tomorrow night, so that you're going to find out about that. And there's no cost to you to do so. But we also invite you to become a VIP member. And once you're a VIP member, you're done. You get to be a part of all of our 5-day challenges in the next couple of months. So become a VIP member, get on this side with us so that you can ask questions. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the live stream. Thank you guys in the Facebook group. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Everybody of the VIPs are waving by to you. You see them with their shirts on, and we want to invite you to be a part of this, but we're going to keep learning. So let me not make sure I don't stop recording, stop live stream. All right.